Hey there Titans, I am coming at you today with an unboxing video, and we are unboxing Age of Sigmar Warhammer Soul Wars. So, me and the guys are going to be getting into this pretty heavy duty. We've got the core rulebook, the General's Handbook, and Soul Wars to take a look at today, so let's get into it. Okay, so we've got our Soul Wars box here. We've also got the General's Handbook, so let's push that to the side and just kind of take a little bit of a flip through here. I've already flipped through it a little bit. I just want to touch on a couple of things that I like so far. So first off, it has open play, narrative play, and match play games. Some of the real big highlights that I've seen is the Open War Battle Plan Generator, which is right here. This basically lets you kind of create your the original battle setup they've got with the open war system. So you have your map tables right here, which are all pretty interesting and different, and will keep your play going very replayable. Then you have your objectives right here, your twist, your ruse and sudden death, and yeah, lots of good stuff. So you got tables there to do that on there. And then they also have aerial battles now. This is kind of neat because you have a lot more flying units in the game now. What it does is that you've got the just pure aerial units, so they have to have the fly keyword to play it, and it's just kind of generally a little bit of a change to the regular rules for aerial. But what I like is the by land and air rules. So this looks like you actually have two tables set up with this. You've got a ground battle going on one, and then you've got an aerial battle going on the other. What I really like about this is you have rules for, like, say one of your units gets blasted out of the sky on the aerial battlefield, then it's going to deal mortal wounds to units on the ground battlefield. And that's really neat. That's really narrative. It feels like a Lord of the Rings battle, like when the Nazgul would fall. And I believe Return of the King? Yeah, something like that. So then you got narrative play right here. You've got this whole bunch of new special rules. Now, I don't know if they are new, because I had only just started getting into Age of Sigmar in the last few months before this new edition came out, but they're new to me. So they're pretty neat. I haven't looked through them completely, but I do like this Fog of War rule, which allows you to kind of replicate an RTS game in a little bit of a way. And then they have all sorts of little interesting tables for some of them. I really do think that that's going to be a lot of fun to play with. I prefer matched play myself, so because I like the points, being able to balance them. But I'm going to experiment with this a little bit as well. Maybe see if I can't find a little bit of a balance between both of them. Historical battles, they have some really cool looking terrain setups here in these pictures. I really like all these skulls everywhere, and they all have like blue glowy eyes, and they've built a realm gate into that. And this is for the battle for the Cascading Path. You have some battle plans for that as well. Then you also have Nagash and like War and the Glim's Forge Catacombs, and they just have some really cool looking terrain setups. GW always outdoes themselves on this. You've got some battle plans for that as well, and I say Nagash because it's apparently a death table. Lots of cool things there. So, let's keep looking here. Oh, wait, we passed something. Gathering of Might. This is something I'm really interested in because it's essentially Apocalypse for Age of Sigmar. So we have Apocalypse level rules for Age of Sigmar. This is only a 6x4 table, but this got me thinking how I can build an extension piece for the table, which will be at that end, to add on so that we can do these kind of things, because I would love to do a massive Slaves to Darkness Ever-Chosen army versus like all the forces of order kind of thing, Chaos versus Order, and all that wonderful stuff. It's got, you've got legendary abilities, traits, gifts of the gods, artifacts, spells, all sorts of good stuff right there. Then you've got some battle plans, which this is built for an 8-foot by 4-foot table, so you can see that they have this is split up to kind of show that. And let's keep going. Match play. My only complaint with the new edition thus far is the understrength units. I was really, really hoping that they would get into the points and make it like 40k, where, you know, I know that my Necron Warriors are, what, I think like 14 points ahead. I can't remember, it's been forever. But basically, you know, your unit is X points ahead, therefore you can add from the minimum to the maximum. So if I want to have 17 Necron Warriors just to max out my points, then cool. My biggest complaint with this is it really makes it difficult for tournament organizers. It just makes it very, very difficult for tournament organizers because it's hard. Some armies can't max out their points, and then some armies can max out their points. So it makes it a little unfair for people that want to do match play and want to do competitive match play. Allies seem to have not changed all that much. You still have, you know, Vanguard 200 points, Battle Host 400 points, War Host 500 points. Pretty sure that's the same. You have some battle plans here, which are pretty neat. They do look like they're a little bit different. Remember, this is the first edition of Age of Sigmar that I'm actually like getting involved in very heavily. I haven't played a whole lot with it yet. We've mostly just been kind of ramping up to it. And then when the new edition was announced, we kind of started focusing on hobby and not rules because we didn't want to learn a bunch of stuff and then have to relearn it. But you've got a fair, like 12 missions. Actually, let me double check that, make sure I didn't miscount. So we've got Knife to the Heart, Total Conquest, Duality of Death, Battle for the Pass, Star Strike, Scorched Earth, Total Commitment, Focal Points. Yeah, that is a lot of missions. I believe that is 12. Then you've got the Pitched Battle Profiles. That's the understrength units thing that I really don't care for. It's just the most frustrating thing for me. Now, one thing I did not notice in here that I like, though when I say like, I mean, I like that they put it in here. I cannot remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, if they had an allies chart in the old General's Handbook. Because as far as I know, I think they might have, but I'm not 100%. But at the end of each alliance, you have this allies chart, and it shows which one of your armies you have here and who they can ally with. I will say that I'm a little disappointed because I have a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth who's in the Thunderscorn. Him and the Dragon Ogres are the only things in Thunderscorn. And they pretty much can only ally with the Beastmen factions and the Everchosen. So my Slaves to Darkness can't take them. And in the old Warriors of Chaos Codex back in old Warhammer Fantasy, yeah, I can't take them. So, but the good news is if I do an Everchosen band, which I am doing, then I can take both of them that way. Because Everchosen can take any Chaos faction as an ally. Skaven can only ally with Skaven, obviously. And Beret Herds can only ally with like Gargants, Monsters, Thunderscorn, War Herds. Though, ironically, Slaves to Darkness can bring in Beret Herds. They can bring in Beret Herds, War Herds, and Gargants. But they can't bring in Thunderscorn, which I find strange. Because Dragon Ogres were like a big Warriors of Chaos thing. I don't know why they did it that way. Maybe they're trying to move the monsters all into their own faction. I don't know. But I really think that's a little weird. So you go through here, and I touch on that because I play a lot of Chaos. Most of my armies are Chaos at this point. And they have the same thing with Death. They have the same thing with Order. They have the same thing with Destruction. You know, all these allies right here. Order Pitched Battle Profiles. So we're just flipping through here. And this is all just, you know, points updates, it looks like. Some notes about if they've been reassigned to different things. One thing a friend of mine pointed out to me when we were talking about this afternoon, because this just came out today. Tomb Kings, not present at all. They've been squatted. They are gone at this point. Can't remember if they were in the last one, but he was hoping that they would get points, and they did not. So Tomb Kings are pretty much out. I know there was some dispute online about whether or not there was going to be Tomb Kings included, but there is not. So then you have, this is terrain rules. So this is like, you know, the Arcane Ruins, the Azerite Ruins, the Baleful Realm Gates, all those. This is going to be useful for me because I've got a ton of the GW terrain that I'm putting together right now. Just about done with the Age of Sigmar death table. I want to make a table for every one of the realm rules. We also have new summoning rules, and they have updates to all the previous released battle tomes and everything, and changes to those battle tomes to incorporate the new summoning rules in the new edition, which I think is very nice. That way you don't have to go out, you just buy this one book and it updates everything. So if you have like all the armies and you're playing all the things, and you just buy this one book and you're updated for the edition at that point with your old books, which I like. Now, allegiance abilities. This is where it gets interesting. You have Dispossessed. You have Free Peoples. That's kind of cool. I mean, a lot of the Free Peoples model lines are pretty outdated. I don't think they've really upgraded them that much. But what I like about this is it does give me ideas for creating a Free Peoples like custom army, maybe using some third-party stuff, and that's going to be kind of fun. Fire Slayers, and this is where we get into cool stuff. 2 new War Scroll battalions for Fire Slayers, the Volstar Lodge and the Grey Ford Lodge. I have honestly given thought to making a Fire Slayers army. I like dwarves. I like dwarves with mohawks that throw giant axes at people and hit them with giant axes. One of my fondest Dungeons and Dragons moments is playing a drunken rager dwarven barbarian. So this brings back fond memories. And an entire army of giant monster slaying dwarves riding, frickin' dinosaurs. Sounds really fun. Speaking of dinosaurs, Seraphon. They have update as well. They also have 2 new War Scroll battalions. Wanderers, which is like Wood Elves, I believe. Bray Herd, which is the one half of the Beastmen, I believe. And then Slaanesh got Allegiance ability. I don't know if Slaanesh had a really good Allegiance ability, but it does look like they've got some cool things. Like you have to choose what host you're playing as, which is Pretenders, Seekers, and Invaders. And then you've got a special ability, which is Feed on Depravity, which allows you to summon units of Slaanesh, which is pretty neat. They've got command traits there, Artifacts of Power. They've got a couple pages for Slaanesh, which is nice. Slaves of Darkness, I've looked through this a little bit. It doesn't seem like it's changed that much, but I haven't compared it yet. So, but yep, Slaves of Darkness right there, probably been updated. Skaven Pestilence, Skaven Skyray, Flesh Eater Courts, Iron Jaws, and then Iron Jaws also got 2 new War Scroll battalions, Iron Suns, and Blood Tooths. So overall, pretty good. Got some new things in there. I like the new missions. I like the Apocalypse level stuff that they've got in there. I like that a lot. Let's go ahead and get into the core rulebook though. And I've already got one over here as well. So, because the core rulebook is in the Soul Wars box right here, but we're going to go ahead and look through this a little bit. Now this, I really like a lot of this artwork they've got in here. So you've got, your collecting Citadel miniatures, your basic like hobby sort of pages. Tale of the Eons, whole lot of good fluff, good art. I mean, I always like the looks and the background and all of the love and care that goes into these core books that GW puts out. They do not skip. I mean, you could just look at the artwork along the edges of these pages. Always high quality, always looks amazing. And honestly, the one really cool thing about this is where I'm just getting into Age of Sigmar. I did not get into it heavily until the last 6 months, I'd say. I get to start looking at the lore, because the lore has gotten a heavy update, from what I understand. Chaos and order fighting, and then destruction and death in the middle of it as well. And you've got with all the armies they've come out with, you've got an expansion on the lore in here, Nagash, all this stuff. I mean, just the artwork alone, it looks really good. And yeah, this is like just the first half of the book is just lore, background, all sorts of fun stuff to read. I'm going to be absorbing this myself because with us getting ready to do the narrative campaigns, this is probably going to be the funnest part of doing the Age of Sigmar narrative campaigns for me. And that's because we're going to be able to really dip into this lore. So let's go ahead and kind of flip past that though. Oh, more wonderful pictures. All sorts of pretty models. You get into the forces. These are the, looks like the Alliance pages. So Slaves to Darkness, you know, Khorne, all the different gods. Sweet. I'm going to be building myself my own custom Archaeon, the Everchosen. Why? Because I think the model looks horrible, personally. It's a good model. A lot of people like it. I don't like it, so I'm building a custom one. Artwork on him looks great. I have the old Archaeon and love the old Archaeon. But, not a fan of the current model. Alright. Fire and Thunder. Here we go. This is where the actual rules starts. So the first 20 pages is just the, you know, the free rules. So the rules that you can get for free and download online, that is just the free rules here. It ends at about 236. And then you get into the battle plans. So battle plans are actually, this is just the one that comes in. We're still in the, there we go, allegiance abilities. So you get into allegiance abilities. You have the 4 alliance allegiances. So from what I'm seeing so far, if you didn't get an update in General's Handbook 2018, then your 2017 allegiances will still apply. But this is what I really like, is the realm of battle, the realms of battle. You have 7 sets of rules for all the realms. This is going to be a lot of fun. I am going to be making a realm table, like a full table of terrain for each realm, themed on the realm. The first one, Death, is going to be kind of a cheat because I'm just using the Gardens of Moor and some of the Citadel trees, and then I'm adding some elevated, you know, areas to it. So that's a little bit of a cheat, but it's also because it kind of graveyards. I mean, what are you gonna do? I'll probably add some cool modifications and some additional pieces over time, but that one's easy to get done because graveyards. Fire, metal, beasts, life, light, shadow. Those are all gonna be a lot of fun to develop some terrain for. Endless spells. They give an example of like the Balewind Vortex. Open play. We're getting into, you know, Open War Battle Plan Generator, which this one is sort of a simple one. The General's Handbook one is much more complex. Coalition of Death, which seems to be multiple player battles. That's what that is right there, which is very interesting. Ladder campaigns, narrative play. I mean, oh, look at that. You got more historical battle stuff. That's amazing looking. Skull Mountain, which sounds like, you know, Skeletor lives there. Ah, He-Man. Siege warfare. Well, this is neat. I'm gonna have to look at this. So Siege War, so it looks like it's got a lot of, oh, it's got Underdark, like Darkest Depths. It's got subterranean tunnels. So that's almost like Zone Mortalis in a way. Yeah, we've got a lot of cool new stuff going on here. Triumphant Treachery, matched play. All right, so we get into match play. It gets you all your pitched battle stuff, some battle plans, and yeah, battle strategies. And these are, you know, yep, that looks to be about it. But yeah, so that's the core rulebook. You know, most of it is fluff. So about over half, I'd say. About this much, pure fluff. This much is rules. But if you are just getting into the game, perfect to get started with, especially if you're doing Soul Wars, where you're like getting 2 sets and then, you know, one of you's taking the Order side, one of you's taking the Death side. I know that's what I'm planning on doing when I eventually get into Death, is because I'm probably going to do the ones that are in that set. But speaking of which, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Oh, this is going to be nice. This is the first time I've opened it. I only took the plastic wrap off. So first thing we see, nice artwork. You got the Stormcasts and the Death Guys. So let's go ahead and take that off. And, oh, actually, that is something else. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Aha! We have models! The models are in the top one. Bunch of bases. Bubble wrap. Who doesn't love bubble wrap? And then we've got sprues. So we've got, looks like, I'm trying to show those off a little bit. Looks like these are the death guys. is pretty neat. And just showing those off a little. Alright. So that's all the sprues that all the death guys come on, and then you've got all of this as the Stormcasts. So this is my first chance I've actually gotten to look at them. First thing I like is I like the robed look they've got going on these a lot better. Some of them, they're just simple robes. Then some of them have sort of that, I don't know what you'd call pleated effect, kind of like right there, see? I don't know if that's what it's called, pleated, or, you know, it's got that sort of that crisscrossy, you know, like stitching going on. And that's pretty neat as well. And then you've got the, like the one riding the griffin creature. Pretty neat. So yeah, let's go ahead and put these back in there for the moment and see what else is in the box. Alright, so first thing, you have a core rulebook. So that is a separate core rulebook. Then you have, looks like some starter materials. I'm assuming that is the rules for this particular one, and on the back it seems to have the War Scroll cards for the contents of the box. That is very cool. We've also got another cutout here. And we've got some more bases. So we've got some big bases right here, obviously for the bigger units in the set. Oh, you got a Next Steps little doohickey right there. You've got sample chapter of a Soul Wars novel. Hey, that's cool. Little light reading. Dice. Can't play a game without a dice. Little plastic measuring thing. I like that they've stopped doing the old red sticks that we all had in the hobby like 10 years ago. I hated the red sticks and they would be everywhere and we just see them at the game stores all the time. I like this a lot better because then this way you put it down, you still see what's underneath. And that's nice. And then it looks like some Stormcast Eternal transfers. So that's our unboxing for Age of Sigmar Soul Wars General's Handbook and the core rulebook for 2nd edition. I'm really excited to be getting into Age of Sigmar, and we're going to be having a lot of fun with this. There's a lot of potential with all the narrative sort of style that they have for the missions, and I'm just super excited to start getting some battle reports and some games going and some tables, and it's just going to be a whole lot of fun. So remember to stay tuned for more content, and we will be getting those narrative battle reports out in the next month or two for Age of Sigmar. We expect something oriented on death because we do have the Malign Portents book that I picked up a while back, so that's going to be pretty interesting. And thanks for watching.